afternoon, good morning, probably for most people. On the
This
East
meeting
Coast,
is
it
being
literally just
recorded.
hit noon, right when I clicked enter into the waiting room here. So thanks for taking some time out of your day to come to the workshop here. So yeah, I just want to start off really quickly with, the reason for this workshop and who this is primarily for is people that aren't yet in the Audience Lab platform, aren't yet DaaS clients. Now, will there be stuff that's helpful if you're already in the platform? You already are a client? Hell yeah, there will probably be some stuff you've never seen. Maybe we haven't gone over, maybe you haven't had a one-on-one call with me. And we're going to go through some of that stuff. But I think it was back in late February, I made a post talking about some of the questions I get from people. So you guys may know we have two different school communities. One is just for clients and people already inside the platform, and there's more support and resources that may not be applicable if you're not in the platform, you're not using Audience Lab, and all those things, right? So first off, I did this post in the larger free community regarding a couple of questions. I really get asked a lot. I've created a couple of videos about this over the last year or two, but I'm sure quite a few people haven't seen that. But the questions we get asked most about DaaS, particularly around like selling DaaS, is number one, what am I actually selling? Like, I understand you guys are Audience Lab. You have this data and technology platform. Like, I understand all that, but what am I actually selling and how do I make money with this and how do I resell it? So that's one main thing I cover. And then kind of twofold. The second question, piggybacks right off of that, right? But how exactly do I sell this? How do I package, price it, position it, right? All those things. So that's what I'm going to cover first and foremost. That's the primary curriculum, and I want to go through and make sure everybody has an understanding. There's going to be time for a Q&A. I'm going to go through some additional resources and show you guys some stuff, in addition to what I just talked about. But that's first and foremost the main objective and kind of why I created this. I did a post asking, in the free school, hey, I get asked this a lot. Do you guys want me to cover a workshop on this? And I don't know, 10 or 15 people commented saying yes or DMing me saying they wanted it. And then I created a follow-up post, and I tagged only the people who commented because I wasn't going to tag everybody if you're not interested, where I dropped a couple of those resources and videos I talked about that I've filmed. But there was a lot of people reaching out and saying, yeah, I'd like you to do the workshop. So here we are. And that's kind of the main objective. So yeah, there's going to be time for a Q&A. So if you have questions, type them in the chat or jot them down, and I will call on you when we get to the Q&A toward the end of this. And I will just dive right into it. So let me just check and make sure there's nobody else in the waiting room. And the first thing I always do each week, right off the bat on my workshop, so I run our DaaS sales workshops, and I see a few guys on here that are on those regularly. Those are just for private clients. So if you're not in that school community and you're not on the platform, you wouldn't have access to my weekly DaaS sales workshops. And kind of rightfully so. You can't sell DaaS if you're not inside of our platform. Like, you can't sell the Audience Lab deliverables. And that's what I'm going to clarify here today. But something I give away each workshop, and I'm going to give away right at the beginning of this, that will be really, really helpful should you decide to ultimately enroll with Audience Lab and into DaaS, is just this quick little document of these seller resources. So I'll go over this really, really quickly, guys. I know there's a few people that have seen me talk about this a bunch of times on this call. I'll go over this really quickly, and then I will go drop the link in the chat for everybody to have this. But this is the exact resources that all my clients need to build out a DaaS sales process. Number one on here is a Google Doc going over the exact process and laying it out, the game plan, the build out, the timeline, the expectations. Number two is a video of me explaining that whole document above and elaborating on anything I didn't just type in a little, in the little explanation, right? Number three is showing everybody the current ad is running. We spend, I don't know, 40 to 50,000 a month on our own ads. We do a lot of cold email. We use four aspects to acquire clients always. We're going to show you the messaging we use, but what we do internally, guys, you may or may not know. We run ads, we do cold email, we do organic outreach DM setting, which is one of my areas of expertise and a whole nother program and company I run. And we do what we call mutually beneficial partnerships, which are a huge part of Audience Lab. You guys on this week's workshop, we talked about them. I'm forging them. You guys as clients are forging them. And it's something we're going to cover here briefly. So here's the messaging, emails, copy, LinkedIn messaging, showing you guys what we use. Number 4 and 5 on the screen are the exact scripts that we use for our process. When you guys go through the video, you'll see that I recommend a 2-call sales process. Number 4 would be your triage call or your 15 to 20-minute call. Number 5 here on the screen would be the actual script for a sales call or a demo. Number 6 is the slide deck we give to our Audience Lab clients to go use on their sales calls to pitch this. Case studies, you know exactly how this works and breaking it down, and you swap out the first slide with your own branding, and you can show that to your clients. Number 7 is just a quick little video of me going more in depth and writing in the super pixel and our identity resolution tool specifically, which I'll talk about soon enough, guys, if that doesn't already make sense to you. And in market audiences, and there's some extra cool tools and little freebies within that video. And then lastly, a lot of my clients were asking, hey, Ray, I'd love to hear your sales calls. So just so you guys know, I'm a co-owner of Audience Lab. Me and my business partner, Jesse, were the initial sales team when we first launched. I've closed over 10 million in high ticket deals in multiple industries. And now that I have a full sales team and I run and manage, I still actually hop back in and get on calls. I'll go through spurts where I got a guy on vacation or whatever. I'll jump back in. So a lot of people have here some of my sales calls recordings. So number 8 on there, I don't know, I put a dozen, 2 dozen of my sales calls recordings. So you can get a good gist for my sales flow and kind of how I run a call. But maybe more specifically, if you're selling, data as a service, the nuances, the lingo, the nomenclature, and how you make that relatable to somebody. When we start talking about this to different sophistication levels of prospects, it could go over certain people's heads. Certain people are going to grasp it. So you got to make sure you can explain it so damn near every prospect can understand it. And that's how I try to break it down on my calls. And that's what you should be able to get from there. So let me go grab the link for you all. I'm going to go drop it right here in the chat, and then I'll get into my next slide here. Chat. You guys should find this super, super helpful. Again, this is usually for our clients. It's not going to be a huge, huge help. Well, I think it's still going to be some killer resources, whether you sell data or not. Just seeing some of the frameworks and the sales stuff regardless. But yeah, it should be super helpful if you're really selling anything, because I've built out sales teams for dozens and dozens of businesses in more than 26 different niches and industries. This one is specific to building out a data or a DaaS sales team. But really my build out, like number 1 and 2 on this, they don't really change. Now the script and the nomenclature and the pitch decks, all that stuff changes per product, right? And per niche, per industry, all that stuff. But really number 1 and 2, and of course, seeing anybody's messaging that's working in any industry, if you're in that industry, would be helpful. Again, if you're not selling data, I don't know how helpful our messaging and our ads and our emails are going to be for you guys, Cool. So let me get on to the next thing I wanted to share with you guys. This is something not a lot of people have seen, and Adam really just designed this, I don't know, within the last 7 to 10 days. I don't even know if it's on our website yet, to be honest. But I just want to bring it up to give you an overview and some background before I get into like the actual lesson on what I want to teach here. So basically, Audience Lab is, our platform, our data, our super graph. For you guys that don't know, we are tracking 280 million users. We are tracking approximately 1.9 trillion behaviors and up to 60 billion URLs daily. That data gets fed into our data graph, and then we can segment it by all the things you're looking for, by keyword searches, by in which market, by all the attributes and parameters we can't target in Google and Facebook anymore, right? Not only can we find like age, race, zip code, income, demographic. I mean, we can get you the VIN numbers of the vehicles of cars that people are currently driving, so we'll know when their lease is going to expire. And if we're a dealership, we can hit them a month or 2 prior to their trade-in, and when they're not even thinking about it yet. But just little tricks like that. So, and I'll dive more into that as we go. But Adam goes on to say an interesting thing right in the headline here. There will be about 452 billion spent in data in this business year. Meanwhile, most agencies are struggling to close 500 deals. It's kind of funny. And it's basically because they're selling the wrong thing, right? I don't want to go through this whole thing in like a webinar format. I'm happy to share this page and I'll drop it a little later or with the resources, but I just want to go through the process of how DaaS works more so than the copy on the page, right? So number 1, you guys get to license our technology. So you get to get into our platform and get access to the different features. We're going to talk about those a little more, but basically big things that people use are in-market audiences. So we have the ability to go in and build an in-market audience that anybody can then use in their advertising and their marketing. So we can take this audience and loop it into a Facebook ad campaign. We can loop it into your email autoresponder. We can loop it into GHL and blast marketing out of there. We can loop it into your SMS thing. We can loop it to a call center where they can call those people, right? There's all kinds of ways to reactivate the data. And I run through what works best, what we've seen the best results. Obviously, all of our clients that are doing the combination, multiple channels of outreach, are going to have better results. Like, that's common sense. We all know the more avenues or channels we can hit people with our marketing and our messaging, the more likely we are to get it, number one, in front of them, but number two, for them to actually take interest and maybe click on it or opt in. So we run through exactly what it means to license our technology and jump into our platform. And then we show you guys inside of our private school community exactly how to do it and learn from others that are doing it, which I'll cover here a little. But these are just some of the things like in our private client school community. Right now, how do I get started and what do I need to know right off the bat? Let's start there. Let's understand DaaS in a little more depth. Let's understand the syncs if I want to sync my audiences right into ad campaigns and how to use the webhooks and the tech, right? Using the automations and AI workflows, weekly workshops in there. And then that's just kind of our DaaS 101 like training hub and portal for anything kind of miscellaneous. You can go in there and search for, hey, I need to find contracts, templates, pitch decks, resources, and assets you guys would need to close deals are all within that particular tutorial, right? So we teach you guys how to land bigger clients and more leverage. And these are just all people, on our platform that have done that, right? There's currently over 1,000 agencies and brands on our platform. And we're growing month in and month out for any of you guys that are following us. Or, if I get time, somebody remind me later if you want to see. I'll show you like the inner workings of my sales team, what we do in revenues, calls. I'll probably have time to get back to that. If you guys want to see that, drop that in the chat and happy to share that. It wasn't something I had kind of in my framework on what I wanted to cover, but yeah. And like some examples that we're able to charge more, right? Number one, we all know this, right? I'm not telling you guys anything new, but we all know the bigger problem we can solve, the more we can charge. And what comes with that too, I don't know if it's listed separately. I think it's kind of all encompassing there is how to stand out. So if we're all just offering the same thing everybody is in the market, hey, I'm an ad agency, I'm an SEO, I'm an email agency, like there's more and more saturation. We all know that, which means to get clients, you either got to be like the first one there or the cheapest one, right? A lot of you guys are competing off price as an agency rather than off of value and actual deliverables that are going to stand out. I know right now, and that's what a lot of our agency clients do in DaaS. They take on our technology, our platform, and they bolt it onto their existing, expertise. I'm already an ad agency. Now, if I can embed in market, first party, intent-based data into my clients' campaigns, I'm going to get them all better results. And I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to retain them longer. I can now charge more to existing clients and definitely to future clients that I enroll. So, there's all kinds of little different things built in that I'm going to try to, break down or, make that apparent as I go through this. Create profitable downsells to increase cash flow, obviously. Qualified leads with the budget to pay you, which is something we always hear about, whether it's us or our clients saying that, hey, man, I get a lot of leads, but the people you're sending me just can't afford my stuff, right? Or maybe you as a business owner, hey, I'm talking to all these people, but they can't afford my stuff. That's a big part of, of getting a pre-qualified audience in front of your clients, right? And then how you reactivate can vary, as I talked about. So a few different ways to do that. And again, I'll go through a couple of these because I don't even remember the ones Adam put on this page. So they're always interesting for me to go back and see some of the past clients I've worked with. Rob, I don't even know if you're on this workshop. You're everywhere, Rob, within our ecosystem. I plan on covering you on something else. It's funny you're on this page. But first, thanks, Audience Lab. We were able to lower our cost per book call from 400 to 190. On average, guys, what I would say you see on average results, that's a great result. That's great. On average, I see pretty standard. We're able to either lower ourselves or maybe we're doing this for clients, right? Cost per lead and cost per acquisition on average by about 25 to 40%. That's pretty consistent. Do we see bigger gains like that? Hell yeah, we see them all the time. But I feel really safe when I go to someone and say, I can drop your cost per lead or acquisition or whatever metric we're looking at by approximately 25 to 40%. We almost always hit on that. And that's important what we do, right? To actually deliver on your promise. When you can do that with a product, it makes you that much more confident when you're able to charge high. Like, your promise is going to be met, right? That's a big difference maker that I think a lot of agencies kind of have doubt on. Like, hey, I'm quoting whatever, 200 leads or 20 book calls, or I don't know if I can actually deliver that. Like, that's a problem. So, and that's always a black cloud in our space. Everybody we speak to has had a marketing agency or an advertising agency that has overpromised, under-delivering. They felt burnt in the past, and there's ways to use that to your advantage. That's not always a bad thing, right? There's Rob, as I was just talking about. We're getting $6 to $9 per click with 20% average conversion. The cost per click at $1.03 and 50% conversion, 3x the number of total clicks. So all that once implementing the data, those are great results. Nico, this is one of the best products I've sold. Got 24 extra appointments for my client just from the Super Pixel. And I'm going to cover that a little more soon. Philip is still on the team. Philip has been one of our best ambassadors for the brand. Some of you guys may know him or work with him because he's kind of a team member as well as a client. But he was one of our first DaaS clients, and he's broken this into so many different successful DaaS agencies for himself. Predominantly, Philip works in home services, but all kinds of niches and industries that you can think of in there. Um, yeah, Philip still teaches workshops. He teaches people how to use our technology and build out these agencies since he's done it in so many different verticals and industries. And that's what we do. Some of our most successful and best clients, we bring them in board to teach people exactly, hey, this is how I do it. Because although maybe we can say it as a data provider, sometimes it's easier to learn from somebody that's in the trenches doing it with you guys, right? And we have a lot of people on the team like that. Our internal school, you guys know that are in our internal one, there's pretty good client collaboration, and they're telling you what's working and sharing their stories and telling you about the deals they closed on the workshops in the community. So it's really good to see that interaction and see what's working for everybody. Because if you're stuck, a lot of times you just get that one little kind of spark in your brain that's like, oh shoot, I didn't do that. I see what he's doing. And sometimes it's that one little thing that's missing. You're doing everything right in your process, and there's one little disconnect or tweak or just something that's not jiving and converting. And once you fix that, everything can flow like that. And a lot of times I have those epiphanies when I'm, doing collaboration with other people that are doing what I'm doing, that are doing it well, right? Um, so yeah, we know it works. Will it work for you? It depends what type of agencies. There's kind of four main type of agencies. You can just be a consultant type of, agency owner. You can be an integrator. You can be, more of a data agency, or you can be the full stack, right? So I'm going to do data, and I'm also going to reactivate it and do the marketing, run the ads, right? We all know a full stack agency does a lot more than just one specific thing. Primarily, just number three, an agency specifies in one thing. I'm an email deliverability. I'm a content. I'm a copywriting. What is that, right? For us and most of our clients, it's a data agency. And if you're bolting it onto something else, you become more of a full stack. And even here, Adam goes to show you on average the pricing you can charge per month for these different styles of agencies, the kind of skills needed. So you can kind of read these over real quick, guys, on my screen. I'll leave it here as I'm kind of talking over this for a minute, hopefully not too distracting. But he did a really good job of breaking this down after going back through and speaking with a lot of our clients and the people on our platform. We have certain people that are using it in this consultant format, and on average, they're charging $1,500 to $2,500 a month. And this one's very, very easy, right? You just need to understand which audience to use and how to onboard data. This is like a 4-hour a week type of agency where you can be charging this much per month. This is the time you guys need to put into it, 4 hours per week, right? 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours. And of course, you can kind of charge more. Now, integrated, you charge more than an agency, but you're not going to work with as many clients as a full agency because you're doing full build out. So the fulfillment is a little more in depth. That's the big difference. And I don't want to dive too much into that. But yeah, this page is really, really helpful. Just breaks all that stuff down. So yeah, that's first and foremost. Now, guys, because of everything I'm covering, and I'm probably actually going to cover a little more than I had jotted down, I'm not going to be going like into the platform and doing a full demo. We have videos on that. It's on our primary website, or what I'll do really quickly before I go on to my next page, just in case anybody wants one. I don't know if you've already met with our team. Some of you guys I know on this call are newer, and I haven't seen you on workshops or in school prior to today. So if anybody hasn't met with our team, if you've already met with our team, already had a demo, and you just want a refresher after any of this, I'd recommend just reach out to your rep if you're still in touch. But if not, guys, just in the chat, if anyone wants a demo or to meet with one of our reps or to see the actual like inside of the platform more than just a video, more specified to your niche and industry, I'll go drop our demo booking link here in the chat, and anybody can click on that if you want to speak with our team. That is right there, the last comment in the chat. Now let me go back into the next thing that I want to cover really quickly. So again, if you are inside of our program already, and again, a few of you on this call aren't, as I said at the top, this is more geared to people not on our platform, only if you're in our DaaS program. So we have a couple different offers. Our incubator program is a lower tier. It's usually to try that out for yourself, get some results, or maybe to resell it to one or two clients. It's not enough data within the incubator to build out like a full DaaS agency. So we have an incubator level program, entry level starter. Then we have our DaaS packages. And there's different tiers depending on how many clients you're working with, how many audiences you need. And if you want to know more about that, they can run you through that on the call. Now, only our DaaS clients get access to this specific resource. So you'll see as I scroll down, this is called our DaaS launch book. And what I was talking about initially with that main question I get, what am I actually selling with DaaS, with Audience Lab? So we've released our ebook a while ago, and guys, if you want this, I didn't get the link handy, but if you want this, type ebook in the chat and I'll get it over to you, especially after I describe it. You might not want it before I describe it, but basically, we have an ebook showing you the main Trojan horses, which are the main deliverables within the platform. We broke that down in an ebook format with the 7 Trojan horses. What I would say is the top 2 or 3 are what I'm going to really focus on here today. They're the low hanging fruit and what is bringing a majority of clients. Number 4 through 7 on my screen, guys, are more elaborate, expansive data solutions that we would upsell or cross sell later in our relationship. So let's say we've already used Trojan Horse 1, and I'm going to explain these better, and got results for a client for 30 or 60 days. And then we're like, hey, Mr. Client, to get more results and to get to the next level, I recommend whatever, Trojan Horse 4, Blue Ocean retargeting. Now we should see a big jump from 50 to 75K that we might not get with the, Trojan Horse number 1, right? It's only this much per month to make that next jump. So again, I'm not going to get into the more elaborate, expansive ones. I want to show you guys what gets quick wins, what a majority of our clients are selling, what about 80% of our clients on the platform are using for tools and deliverables. Again, the more sophisticated, more extensive agencies over 100K plus per month are probably instant number 4, 5, and 7, but are 4 through 7. But anybody below that, or anybody that's looking to get to 10, 20, 30, 50, 70K months, it's probably going to be these top 3 Trojan horses that get you there and that you're going to sell to launch the foundation of your agency. And we're going to cover those in more depth. I just want to show you a little more about this launch book and what you get if you're one of our DaaS clients. So then we got through our MVP method, which I talked about a little earlier. Stands for mutually beneficial partnerships, and it's a big foundation of how we've grown Audience Lab. It's a good chunk of our revenue, and we've done this in all of our business. Some of you guys might not know our initial company, and a company I still run, it's called PDocs, the PDocs method. We've had over 3,000 students and clients come through that, and that's kind of a communication, copywriting, messaging, offer, angles, hooks, everything you need to know about, good messaging and good communication, which of course goes into all of our businesses, right? I run another company called the Sales Lab. I'd mentioned I closed over 10 million in deals myself. I have a business partner, Jesse, who's closed over 12 million in deals. And we've trained and placed, 100 plus reps into high ticket offers. And we've built sales teams for about a dozen, businesses that were at the 6-figure a month mark and really needed help building out or organizing a sales team. So I have a lot of experience in that stuff. And in all of these businesses, I've used a lot of mutually beneficial partnerships. And I walk our clients through exactly how to land some of those in more of a data agency format. We give you guys authority assets, meaning you get access to pitch decks, LinkedIn bios of our best, clients, all the offer hooks that work for us, the pitch emails we're using, LinkedIn messaging framework, just access to everything that our clients need to build out their data agency. And we go more and more in depth. So again, Trojan Horse 1. We dive through Trojan Horse offers, and identity resolution is Trojan Horse 1, so guys. So that tool for Audience Lab, you may have heard us talk about our Pixel or our Super Pixel. That's our identity resolution tool. Real quick breakdown for anyone that's not familiar with identity resolution, how that works. You have a website or your client has a website that's getting X amount of hits per month. Let's use a nice whole number to make this easy like I usually do. Let's say we're getting 10,000 hits to the website. Let's say 5% of people convert and opt in. That means we have 95% what we would call bounced traffic or anonymous visitors, right? Now I say to a business owner, hey, Bob, for the people that don't opt in and bounce off your page, is there any way to identify and know who's landing on your page, their name, email, phone number? Well, no, right? I mean, if they didn't opt in, I have no clue who's landing on my page. Totally, Bob. And that's kind of the old way of doing business, man. There's a new technology out there called identity resolution. My tool in particular is called the Super Pixel. And the way this works is this one piece of code I just slap right onto the existing header of your website, already getting that traffic. It's going to take me about 10 or 12 minutes to install. Once it's firing, it's going to resolve the identity for bounced visitors to the tune of about 30 to 60%. So number one, what does resolved identity mean? It means if they landed on your website and Pixel resolves them, we're going to give you their first and last name, their primary cell phone number, their primary email, and their hashed email, which in other words, Bob, that's their advertising profile. If we want to loop them into a Facebook ad, a Google ad, any type of social media ad, right? So we're going to resolve out all that information. Now, Bob, I said about 10,000 hits, 5% opt in. That means we have about 9,500 bounce visitors. Let's say my Pixel operates at worst case scenario and I resolve 30%. That's about 3,150 people a month, right? So Bob, if I'm to give you the name, email, phone number of 3,150 people that landed on your website in the last month, do you think you could get some of those people back into your funnel? And that's the whole conversation, how I would go through. That's what the Pixel does. Now, if they say no to that, Ray, I don't know what to do with data. That's where you as the DaaS agency needs to know, all right, now I need to reactivate the data for them, and I would charge a higher premium. And that dives right into Trojan Horse 2, which is identity resolution with retargeting. So I always say there's two ways we can really work with clients with the data. Number one, we can just sell it back to them and do nothing, right? And that would be working with a more advanced or more established company, somebody that has an in-house marketing department, a media buyer that knows what to do with the data. And as I always say to my clients, if I'm to give you this, do you know how to weaponize, monetize this data? If the answer is no, cool, I'll do it in-house for you and I'm going to charge more. So that's what we call identity resolution with retargeting. It's actually better to explain this over on this page that I want to show you guys, right? So this is the low-hanging fruit with what and how do I sell this. This is the best exercise and document I can go over to explain this. And I'm going to go back to number one. Although it's listed as one, I'm going to go back to that because I already started talking about the audience and the reactivation and the upsell. And again, I'll explain why I'm going back to one. It'll make sense in a minute. But anyway, the selling the basic data, right, without the activation usually is going to be two ways. We're going to build them in market lists, or we're going to use the super pixel, or in best cases, a combination of the both. Now, the super pixel guys would not make sense to sell to a client or a business owner that is getting no existing significant traffic to a website. The pixel, that's its main thing. Wherever I'm getting existing traffic, website, landing page, whatever, and I have a lot of bounce traffic or anonymous visitors that I want to resolve. So if I speak with a business owner, he's like, I'm getting 800 hits to my website. I'm not going to go pitch a super pixel to resolve like 200 leads. It's usually just not worth it. I mean, it might be in certain cases, but generally speaking, there's certain parameters I'm looking for. Now, what I can do for almost every business owner is find them an in-market audience. We just have to figure out how to reactivate it, which is where I was getting to. And with in the other document, Trojan Horse 2, on this template, it's number 3. But that's where we're reactivating. So guys, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're almost always reactivating the data via email, via phone, via managing ad spend, and pixel management where applicable. Again, if I didn't install a pixel on a website, I'm not going to be offering them pixel management. So if we're working with a client that we're not using pixel, just forget about that last one. But again, we're not reinventing the wheel. And this is the way I've seen the data perform best. We have over 1,000 agencies and brands on our platform. I'm in contact with quite a few of them. You guys who, talk with me, I'm in contact with you guys. You guys that follow me probably see my screenshots or my conversations with clients. I talk to a lot of them. And these are the 4 most prevalent ways. Plus we have data. I mean, we're a data company. We're tracking the data of what's working on our platform, right? This is the way I see the data work best in campaigns in terms of efficacy and monetization regarding an ROI, okay? Number one, in ads. The data is always going to perform best in ads because we can get it in front of more people and fuel it with ad dollars, right? It's just the way it is. Number 2, email campaigns is second most effective. Number 3, SMS. Number 4, cold calling. In that order, generally, right? There's outliers. Certain industries, cold calling makes more sense. I'm not saying it won't work, but we all know calling people individually has much more regulations and legality than just sending an email or an SMS, and way more than an ad. An ad, you have there is no legal ramifications. If we get the data, we can hit anyone with an ad. They can just click, I don't want to see ads like this again. Email, within the regulations, which are very, very simple, and we lay out for all our clients. But if you've reactivated the data off our platform, number one, many of you guys might know what I meant when I talk about first party in-market intent-driven data. I think the second two make a lot of sense, right? In-market is the market or the industry I'm looking for. Intent means by certain keywords or searches. First party means that data that's coming from our super graph guys has been opted into by that user to us or one of our data partners, which means they at once tick the box that says, yes, I agree to share my data with you and your partners and receive outreach. So we can reach out to first party data. Now, are there still compliance regulations? Yes, with all outreach. Email is still pretty simple, and you only need 4 things to be compliant when you're reaching out to our data. Now, outside, if you're getting second or third party data, there are more restrictions. That's why we run a first party data platform. 4 things you need in email is your name, your business address, and a clear opt-out. Most people already do that. That should be common sense, but I'm just saying it so people know. For SMS, there's only 3 things. You don't need the business address. So your name, your business name, a clear opt-out. As long as that is within, and obviously the body, right? You want your message in there. I think that's apparent. But the 4 things you need to have it legal, or the 3 things are just those, as long as it's first-party data, which is what you get from our platform. That's one of the biggest questions I get asked, both by users, people that want to use my data, and resellers. Right? What about, like, I'm going to get asked all these stuff about privacy, legality, compliance, right? All that stuff. So number one, the data platform, where the data comes from in the source, is 100% compliant. And guys, that falls all back on us. It's all branded through Audience Lab. If the data is not legal, our whole company gets shut down. Not your little DaaS agency, but like everything, the whole super graph. It's 100% legal, and that's all the fees and the legal team and the 1.2 million in infrastructure we paid to just set up this ecosystem. Never mind our monthly overhead to keep in there, but the data is 100% legal, and we can dive into that more if you want. The real question and the real issues, I should say, come from how I reach out to that. Is that compliant? My outreach, right? And that's what you should always explain to clients when they ask about the legality. Yeah, as long as we're doing these parameters and we're within compliant with the outreach, we're 100% legal, right? So I just wanted to cover that quick because it's something that gets brought up in a lot of conversations I have with people, and something some of you on here may be wondering yourselves, right? So, once we build an in-market audience and we're speaking with a client, or again, if we think they're not a good fit for the pixel, they're not getting much traffic. Again, if they are doing this, I'm probably going to sell audiences in addition to that because they complement one another. But there are certain businesses I work with. The pixel makes no sense. They just don't drive traffic to their website. They don't even follow their website. They just don't do anything with it. It would make no sense, right? But with audiences, all we have to figure out is, okay, once I build your audience for you, Bob, how are you currently reaching out to these? How would you market? Do you have money to put behind this? Can we run ads? Do you just want me to run cold email? What are you currently doing? Right? And you want to get in a conversation to really figure out what reactivation is best, or maybe you already do one of those within your agency. You already run ads, you already run email, so you're going to recommend or suggest the one that you already have. Number one, in expertise, but number two, you probably already have a system or a tool or whatever, right? So that quick little understanding. So we're going to sell in.
Is anyone else not connected to?
Yeah, hey man. I don't, I'm not sure what happened. I see you. I guess maybe Ray popped off. I don't know.
All right. Oh, please hold for Ray. All right.
We're just a few minutes to get back on. We are still recording. Oh, he popped off.
Well, I'll tell everyone on here this is an exciting and pleasant experience so far.
Evan, are you with Audience Lab? Or are you a client?
No, yeah, not with Audience Labs. I own an AI automation agency. We started as a business consulting, and for months I was using a bunch of AI tools to help me with, the business consulting that I was doing. So then I was like, well, all we're doing is putting these AI tools in place for businesses. We might as well just do AI consulting. And so we've been doing that, and I've been building vector databases in Python and all that stuff. So being able to access um, a huge database like this would be super valuable, not just for us, but for our clients.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And being able to connect it. We've been on this vibe coding chase for a little bit, and I have myself and two team members. We're all working on three different projects to implement into our offering. They're going to be web applications that we offer directly and exclusively to our clients. So instead of offering it to a million people like N8N and Make, we're going to be able to provide a lot more value in terms of service and teaching people how to use the platform. Is it's going to be a beginner friendly making money with AI platform that integrates a lot of the stuff that's out there already, but makes it a more plug and play, ready to use right away. We're pretty close. It's functionable. We have our own workflow. We have one-click AI voice agents ready. So yeah, I mean, and they're good. They're valuable, right? They're not just the robotic, "Hey, how are you?" Uh, so yeah, this is definitely super exciting, right up the field of what we're trying to do. I have no background in technology 18 months ago. Yeah, this is Devin. I'm doing very well, sir. And yourself?
David, you're muted. We can't hear you currently, but thank you for sharing your story. That was super awesome. Looks like we may have lost him. I think he dropped off here. That was a super cool story.
I'm still here. I just had someone call. Give me a moment.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just speak to that and respond to that. Congratulations on your introduction into the technology industry. You said 18 months ago you didn't have a background in the field, and so I just want to congratulate you. That's one of the things that I love about what we do is that the industry is so big and so robust. There's room for everybody. So congratulations, welcome, and we're happy to have you. You have a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
Now, that being said, I don't represent Ray or Audience Lab or anything of that nature. However, I can say I've been around with the team for quite some time. I run my own agencies and my own businesses and that sort of thing. And without going into too much detail, I've used their data for a few years now to season my AI, both publicly and privately, for both my private use and my public facing agencies. So it's a really powerful tool in the back pocket. I highly recommend it. And if you don't have someone to speak with, I can refer you to either Jaden or Nathan, and I'm sure they'd be happy to speak with you on the intake side of things.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I honestly, I feel if I'm gonna go at this, I'll probably get with Ray just because that's who I've reached out to. Definitely curious as to the price. I literally like just came across this um over a cup of coffee with my breakfast this morning. I was scrolling through, looking at stuff about data because I literally, it's so overwhelming. And a lot of
Nice, nice.
the projects that we've been creating, we've been starting with define the database first. Because if you do that, then creating the UI around the database, how it's going to pull from stuff, access things,
Correct.
creates a lot cleaner product, whether you're doing workflows or your own SaaS product.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things that's important for everyone to recognize that it's a combination of data, platform, and software to run the entire tech stack, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
when Ray's talking about the different types of data, whether you're an integrator or, for example, a consultant, there's different forward-facing sides to this whole project, and there's different ways to cut the data. Having worked with the data myself personally for years, I can tell you that there's so many ways to apply this. It's not even funny. It's not even a joke. It's real. It's validated. This is a real solid team, and they have a fantastic roster of people that help them manicure and curate their data. And everything is up to snuff in terms of the legalities. He's absolutely right when it comes to regulation, the law, and making sure that we're on top of the latest and greatest with regard to regulatory oversight requirements and mandate. Hold on, sweetie, I'm on the phone.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot to discuss here, but either way, welcome. Super exciting to have you and all of that. If you have any other questions, please ask them now. If not, if there's anybody else that has any questions, comments, statement, we'll pass the mic. Thanks again, Devin.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Have access to everybody. One link, one data, you want the best data that exists on planet Earth. I got that. Okay, how to use it and how to make it work for you. That's what you have to figure out. That's what everybody has to figure out. You.
Hey, Chris, we're having a lot of feedback issues with your mic. If you could, maybe a Bluetooth related issue, but we're only catching every other word, but we'd love to hear from you. Okay, guys, so JP here again. What I'd like to do before we continue here is if anybody has any questions or needs to be connected with a member of the Audience Lab team, please leave your email in the comment section, and Ray and a member of his team will get back to everybody with your questions. If you are a current member of DaaS, wonderful. If you are not a current member of DaaS, please be sure to enter your information so that Ray or one of his team members can get back to you. Thanks everybody for your time. Thanks for being here, and we super appreciate your attention today. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.